Hello, good evening, and welcome to Football Nutmeg. My name is Philip, or you can call me Omofils. That's my Twitter handle. Good evening, all, and it's nice to be here once more talking football. And this is the weekend review of all matches played in the EPL this weekend. I'll have some couple of guys calling. It's like a calling show. They'll come in, and this weekend has been a wonderful weekend, a weekend packed with magical football, surprises, all sorts of uh, movement here and there. We saw what happened at the Etihad. We saw what happened at Ellen Road today, and a whole lot of stuff in the EPL. The last match for today saw Leicester being beaten at home, away by away by Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think it was a nice game for each and every one of us on the on for the EPL, especially the neutrals as well. They enjoy the game. I think it's a big one. I'll have a couple of guys calling now. Uh, you know that the EPL is also probably might go down to the wire as Tottenham Hotspur blew the title race open yesterday. Uh, Title race open yesterday, and hopefully we'll see what will happen going forward. I just think that uh, the EPL has just given us something a taste. We didn't want it to finish on time. It didn't want itself just to finish on time, and we'll have a one man show at the end of the day. But I think it's a good one for the EPL. They know how to package themselves. They know how to do every all sorts of things when it comes to the shows like this. But I think it's a great one for the EPL. A great matchup. A great match show. I just hope that this continues like this. This will happen. Uh, this will have such big matchup. I think there are a whole lot of matchup coming up, a whole lot of stuff. Hopefully, we will continue to see all the surprises left, right, center. The first match of yesterday saw Newcastle travel to West Ham at the London Stadium. At the end of the day, they came home with a point. I think Newcastle are getting stronger and stronger and better going forward. With Joe Willock with that goal, we also saw Arsenal Brentford, peeping Brentford. I said so. Finally, yesterday by 2 goals to 1. Goals called by Steve Smith Rowe and Bukayo Saka. So we also saw Everton falling short as well. We thought that their victory to Leeds last week was something we should not write off, but we saw them coming to that match, and with hope, with full confidence. But Southampton are not just a side that you can just push around and move around left, right, center. I think it's gonna take a whole lot of stuff to stop Southampton going forward. And let's see how it goes. Let's just see how it goes. I think it's gonna be wonderful in the EPL. We have it's a calling show. We're waiting for our first caller. Let's see how this matchup will be. Uh, Sorry about that. Sorry about that echo we have. Hold on. Let's just go for a pauser small. Let's go for a pauser. Okay, guys. For me, what do you think about the EPL this weekend? A whole lot of surprises. Man City lost at home to Spurs. Um, Manchester United win. The top four is also getting tighter and tighter with Wolves winning today. Manchester United winning, Chelsea winning. Who else again? Arsenal winning is becoming tighter and tighter and tighter. So how do we get this whole stuff going forward. Arome has joined us. Hello, Arome. Good to have you on the show. Good evening.
Hi, Philip. Can you hear me?
I can hear you crystal clear.
Oh,
I can hear
okay.
you crystal
Good
clear.
to be on the show
Yeah,
again.
yeah. What happened yesterday at the Etihad Stadium? What happened yesterday? Tell me. Tell me in one
Uh,
just tell me in one sentence, please.
Magical. It
Oh,
was magical. We've not seen an intensive football of that manner in a while. Well, it was an interesting watch,
really?
I must tell you. An interesting watch, yeah.
So do you think that with what happened at the Etihad yesterday that it has the title race is now open between Liverpool and City?
Oh, sure. It's blown it open really wide, even though before their next meeting, if after a game like this, you would expect City and Liverpool to have their next match. Make say next weekend will be our next fixture to make it even more
Yeah.
interesting. But between now and then, I think they would have 3 to 4 fixtures before they meet in April. A
Yes.
lot would have happened before that meeting, but right now, looking at all things being equal, you expect that the title race has been blown open by that event of
You see,
yesterday.
I'm really scared for City because they'll be having a Manchester derby, and if you know, Manchester derbies are not all about who is in form. It has nothing to do about who is in form. A derby
Sure,
has nothing to do
sure.
about who is in form. If they lose that derby, I think it will be a knife edge for them when they play against Liverpool in April.
Yes, but looking at what is happening at the moment, you wouldn't want to say Manchester United is at the level to upset Manchester City. Looking at
So, but
what's
it has
happening at
nothing.
the
It has
moment.
nothing to do with level. When it comes to derby, it has nothing to do with level. Any team that turn up, it has much to do with emotions and character and a lot of emotions. Anything that turn up
Yes,
turn up on that day, yeah. So I think both United will understands it and City also understands it as well that it has nothing to do with form. It has nothing to do with but I just think that City will be too good, except if they are complacent in that Manchester derby, or there are
just the
matches in
way.
between. Yeah, there are matches in between. Definitely, they'll be putting one eye on the Champions League also within
Yeah,
that
sure,
week.
sure,
So I just
sure.
they also need to be very very careful going into that
Mm,
match as well.
sure. You see Manchester City at the moment. If you ask Guardiola, the Champions League or the Premier
Yeah,
League, we both know he would prioritize the Champions League ahead of the Premier League. But
yeah,
having an arm on the Premier League says at least there is a title for the season. Even if we don't get the Champions League, there is a Premier League title for the season. Even though he would prioritize the Champions League ahead of the Premier League, he would want to
yeah,
ensure that the Premier League is in his bag, so that if there's an upset like it was last season when Chelsea knocked them out in final, there was something to fall back on. So you look at these variables and you want to say, because of the Champions League, they might rest some players, but that is not to say they don't have squad depth. You look at their bench and whew, you are saying this second 11 on the bench can easily walk into any of the from apart from Liverpool, any of the
yeah.
team below Liverpool. City second 11 can easily walk into there and enter the first team.
So what a lot of people are saying that, but I don't think it's possible. I don't think they can walk. They can. People are saying even their second 11 can win the league, but I don't think it's possible.
Winning the league
Um,
might be too much. It might just be an exaggeration, but they have a wonderful setup. Liverpool also have a good squad depth with this Ruben Diaz, with the signing of this young boy.
yeah,
It's blown open the Liverpool attack again. So it's no longer the one-way ticket it was for Firmino, Mane. Salah, where you already know how they play, you already know their dynamics and their movement and their runs. Klopp has brought in another twist, someone who knows how to run in
Yeah,
between the
you
lines.
have a you don't forget that you have a Jota in the mix as well. You have a
In a
Diego Jota in
minute.
the mix as
Oh
well.
my God. So you look at this and their dynamics. When games get tough, he can just bring in one of them who will just come with something you're not prepared for as a team. So okay, now a very good example of a team not doing the same thing Liverpool is doing, even though that is what they need primarily, is Chelsea
Yeah,
Football Club. You see that Chelsea, all they need is just maybe two of these attackers Liverpool
yeah,
already have, and their team it becomes something else for the season. But because there's so much priority, or Tuchel took his time to ensure that even if we don't have the attack to score the goals, we have the defense at least to stop the goals from leaking. We've done that. But you look at Liverpool, and between Liverpool and Chelsea, between Manchester City and Chelsea, you see the gulf between this. And I tell you, Chelsea being in third position is not because they've done so well. It's because those behind them have actually been poor as well. Because
exactly.
if the likes of United have been up and doing, the likes of Tottenham have been up and doing before now, with the current form Chelsea is on at the moment, you expect Chelsea to be in sixth or seventh position.
Yeah, I agree
So
with you. I agree with you.
you look at that mix of the attack at Liverpool, and you know that wow, these guys are ready to compete at any level.
I agree with you. For those that are watching us, do you agree with Arume? Please kindly drop a chat with a message to us if you agree with Arume. I will read it out. Arume, let's move on from the match between Tottenham and uh, City yesterday, and look at Chelsea. Chelsea is your team. What do you think is the problem of Chelsea? Is it that the players have not really understand themselves, or rather, is it the problem of let's look at uh, let's look at is it a coaching problem or a tactical problem?
It
Players,
has nothing to do with it really, yeah, it has nothing to do with tactics. It has
yeah,
nothing to do with Thomas Tuchel.
yeah,
It's not personally. You remember when Chelsea was going to sign Thomas Tuchel? I was one of those who was critical about him not having won any major trophy and all of that.
yeah.
I was talking to you about it, and I really did not like the idea of Chelsea signing Tuchel. If you remember at the time,
I
but
agree
since
with
he
you.
came
Yeah,
on,
I
I
understand. I
saw,
understand at that time. Yeah,
yeah, I saw what he brought to the table, and he had a way of communicating with the team. And one thing I give to Chelsea is that when a manager comes to Chelsea,
yeah.
they have a way of accepting whatever the manager comes with and running with it until he fails. When he fails, it is clear to everyone that look, the manager's tactics are failing. You understand? But
Yeah.
um, currently at Chelsea, it is not about the manager. It is not about the tactics the manager employs. It is about the personnel carrying out these assignments. Now, one good thing that still works for Chelsea is the fact that they have a team of people who have the mind to try and execute what the coach has told them to do. But it's one thing to know what the coach has said, but it's another thing to know how to implement it. And then it's another thing to you know what the coach has said, you know how to implement it, and then it's another thing to implement what you already know. Now,
Hmm.
this is the challenge we have with the attackers at Chelsea. They're having issues, personal issues, you ask me. Lukaku
Yeah.
currently, I must say, um, I'm not sure anyone will want to doubt me on this, but he's currently the worst striker in the Premier League.
Are you sure?
Oh, sure. Look at his returns in the last 5 games. Look at the strikers in the Premier League, current strikers. You talk of the work rate, you talk of hold up play, you talk of keeping possession, you talk of runs and all. Lukaku has played, made runs offside. He has had more offside runs than any other striker in the league currently. Imagine a game against Crystal Palace. I said this. I was on Twitter and I had a few. words with some people, and we had some words before the match, and I told them
Yeah,
Chelsea would only do well against the likes of Crystal Palace if people like Alonso gets to start, so they can whip in balls, because the striker we have currently knows how to use his head more than any other part of his body. So if there's any way we want to get anything from him, we need
yeah,
people who can just throw the balls into the box and hope that it gets to his head. We said that, and everyone was no. I had three people who said no, no, no. Malansa is good. I said he has reasoned well, but against Crystal Palace, you need people who
yeah,
can whip in the balls. And then we had, likes of Kalomanson-Roy and Aspilicueta, who would have even at least tried to make some crosses. In the course of the training warm up before the match, I had to drop out for different kinds of knocks, and then we had those who started, who also couldn't pull through. The likes of Pulisic, who is, oh my God, I don't even know, he's a professional, but looking at what he was doing before Chelsea bought him, he's here to even do 10% of what he was doing before Chelsea signed him. You look at the likes of Havertz, who is like, we say in Nigeria, he's like the electricity problem we have in Nigeria. Today he's on, tomorrow he's off. There's a very, very high level of inconsistency in Havertz. A player whom I think we both had a word about, we were both shocked on how everything has been going for him, suddenly has turned the tide. Hakim Ziyech is beginning to play well. He's beginning to impress. You watch him, he might not be doing well in his serious passes and the crosses, but you see the work rate, ensuring that his defensive work is properly done. He supports the defense, he supports the build up, and you see him whipping wonderful crosses into the box to support other. And then now he's also getting on the end of passes and crosses and scoring goals. Our last two games, taking out the World Club Cup, Hakim Ziyech has been the one saving the club. Someone would say he's paid to do what he's doing, but
really.
yeah, any other person who isn't doing it, I also paid, but they are not doing it. So you would want to at least give him an accolade. So currently at Chelsea, the struggles of Chelsea is not managerial. No, it has nothing to do
Yeah,
with the manager. It has everything to do with the attackers. Someone would say they're not throwing the ball to Lukaku. Well, you're not making yourself available for these passes. The last few games you watch Lukaku, he doesn't make the runs he's supposed to make. And when he makes the runs, he's offside. He doesn't time it. He doesn't keep eye contact with whoever is going to make the pass to him. And then you even make the pass to him, it feels as if you are making a pass to an opposition player. Because the moment he gets the ball, he's dispossessed. Look at how comfortable the Crystal Palace defense were with Lukaku, a beast in a human form. And defenders were so comfortable with him. They were making their runs, going and attacking and coming back. In the first half of 45 minutes, Lukaku had only 2 touches. For a striker of his
okay,
build, of his
okay. Arome, let's take a look at this. There are reports out there that the entire Chelsea team have not really gelled this season, even despite having success. I know we all know that they've been winning trophies. They've been they've been puffing and huffing left, right, center in the EPL. But for me, when you look at the entire Chelsea team, from the back line to the midfield and to the attack, there are a whole lot of inconsistency. What would I call by inconsistency is that you have an attack that you have Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, and Lukaku not firing from all cylinders. You also have those guys behind them, the likes of Mason Mount, um, the likes of N'Golo Kante, the likes of Kovacic, that have been inconsistent, maybe not due to their play, but because of the injury and the niggles they've been picking up left, right, center as well. And also, you when you go to the back as well, you have the likes of Diego Silva, Rudiger, and you also have that inconsistency in the back a little bit. Not that I think the back line have been okay, but for Chelsea the problem of accumulating too much draws rather than losing matches. Too much draws rather than losing matches, because we all know that Thomas Tuchel's winning ratio is 3 in 4. It's 3 in 4. That is, for every 4 matches he plays, he wins 3. which I think is good as a coach. But these players are the problem. This inconsistency that you have that I've mentioned in the team are the problem. I also think that for a modern day striker like Lukaku, because the way he played in Inter for two seasons that we saw is that he had players that understand him. I also don't think that the Chelsea midfield also understands him very very well. What's your take?
Well, first of all, I'll start with the level of
Arome, it's a 1 hour show, so it's a 1 hour show, so we have more time to talk about to talk. So
oh, okay,
let's keep
okay.
on talking there.
So I'll start with the level of inconsistency.
Yeah,
I would say the challenge with that has to do with, first of all, Chelsea have been bedeviled with COVID cases from time to time. Sometimes just before the match, someone tests positive, and it's always a major player on the team, a first team player who goes missing, and then there's a makeshift arrangement. And so you look at the Chelsea team and the injuries, and injuries really have not been fair to Chelsea. You look at Chilwell, who started firing from all cylinders, had to go
yes,
off.
yeah,
Reece James, who also started firing from all cylinders, had to go off injured. Mason Mount got injured, even though he started slowly, but injuries came in. N'Golo Kante, injured today, back tomorrow, injured to next tomorrow, and he's back. The whole responsibility fell on Jorginho and Kovacic, and somehow Kovacic, who normally doesn't stay fit for long, stayed at least longer than basically. I think the period he stayed for without injuries at Chelsea between last season and this season should be the longest he has ever stayed without injury in his career. But then he got injured again and had to stay out. And you look at the injury list at Chelsea, they are the stars who made Chelsea look like world beaters at the time. They are the ones who have actually gone off. We come to inconsistency from the attack. Yes, it has to do with personal form of the players, and I expect them as professionals to do more training, stay back after the general training, and work on your shots, work on your pullouts, work on your crosses. You are professionals not because you just jump onto the pitch and you can wear the jersey of a football club. No, you're a professional because you are good at what you do. And sometimes if what you're doing isn't yielding the kind of results that even you personally you want, you expect that you put in more effort in training, work out personal runs, work out personal styles of movements and all. And then you can pull in one or two of your midfielders who are supposed to be helping with some of the passes and crosses. And you pull them into those short training sessions of 10, 15 minutes. And then you guys have a way of playing one or two things. Cristiano Ronaldo is a massive example of what I'm talking about. He's someone who looks at his form and says that, man, I'm not doing well at the moment. Goes back to watch some of his clips and then finds, okay, I'm messing up in this area, I'm messing up in this area. And then he sets aside some more extra hours. Cristiano Ronaldo is not known for minutes on personal training. He sets hours on personal trainings to see how better he can get. We expect that as professionals, you do this. Yes, we know you're human beings and you can get worn out, you get tired. You know, when it's about tiredness, it is clear for the whole world to see that look, these guys are tired. You know, and then we can all beg and ask for breaks from, and even the coaches. Right now, the coaches of this generation, they give breaks when they realize that players are tired. But you look at Chelsea at the moment, it's not really about being tired. It's about players who are personally not fit, and it's not about having overworked them. No, it's about them out of form at the moment, and you expect that the only way to get your form back as a player
yeah.
is playing more. There's no other magic. There's no other formula to it.
Or have we lost Arome there? Hello, Arome, have we lost you there? Okay, I guess
It's
we've
in the
lost.
coach should open your head and pick form. The only way. Yeah. Okay, I'm back.
Okay,
So
okay,
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. All right. So the only way to get your form back as a football star is to play more, do more. When you're set on the pitch, push yourself more. During the training, push yourself. After the training, get yourself on the pitch, do the things you're failing at, and then gently your form will come back. So it's you don't expect form that's just gone to find a way and come back on its own like that. So it's about them doing more for themselves. So I expect as professionals for them to do more for themselves. There's no way Tuchel will do more than he's doing at the moment. He works out
I agree with
tactics.
you. I
He
agree with
makes
you.
tactical substitutions. You look at the substitutions and you see that this man knows what he's doing. So it's about the players looking at themselves and saying, "Hey, young man, get up. I have to do better than I'm doing at the moment and get things right." So that's the major. That's what Chelsea needs to do at the moment. What was your last question? I was going to hit on that.
Okay,
That was
okay,
the very
okay,
last one.
okay, okay. Looking at that Chelsea team, hold on. Looking at the Chelsea team, I know it will. Tuchel will get the team back to where he wants them to be. But do you think which player in that team just can you single handedly pull out of the team and say this player has been doing well?
At Chelsea at the moment,
Yes.
it has to be in the defense. None other than Anthony Rudiger. There's none other at the moment. Tony Rudiger, and he's the talk of the moment. He's the talk of the world right now. Every club that can afford big stars want to have his signature at the moment. And you see, to talk now, we're back to this again. We talk of the issues. Chelsea have issues on and off the pitch. There might not be big issues as seen, but there are distractions. There are these little distractions that affect even the manager's concentration with the team, because he isn't sure if this guy is going to be available next year. He isn't sure if this other one is going to be available for him at the end, come the end of this season. So he's thinking, am I working with these guys to set them up, and then another coach comes to carry them, another team comes to carry them, and I start building another team, setting up another player all over. It becomes a problem. Contract situations of the major players at Chelsea. It's good to say that Thiago Silva is happy at Chelsea and is ready to extend his contract. He wants to extend. And the likes of Christensen, looks like he isn't going to sign a contract extension. Rudiger still discussing with Chelsea executive. We hope that he signs an extension. He's asking for some amount of money. The club is holding out for a lesser amount than that. We hope they find the compromise, because as Chelsea fans, we really would want to have Rudiger come next year, because there's a level of push that will be expected. Manchester City will not drop. Liverpool will not drop. So the only way to compete against these guys is to ensure your star players don't go missing anywhere. Instead, you build more around your star players. And at Chelsea at the moment, the star player who you can single-handedly pick out and drop in any team at the moment is Anthony Rudiger, none other.
Okay. Okay. Just a quick one, please. Thank you for watching our channel. Kindly subscribe and like our videos going forward. Okay, let's move on. We are halfway now, and the show for me has not hitting up yet. But let's just keep on with what we are doing. Okay, let's move forward to let's look at Arsenal. They played at home yesterday against Brentford, and they won 2-1. To strengthen their top four hopes and their positions as well. We also saw Spurs also winning 3-2, which we talked about earlier. We saw Wolverhampton Wanderers as well edging out Leicester this evening by 2 goals to 1. And we also saw Manchester United in a crazy game against their local rivals, Leeds United. I'll call that they are not East rivals, Leeds United.
Yeah.
3-2, a 4-2 win at Leeds. What's your take about the top four and the clubs within that? I'll also put Chelsea in the mix as well, because anytime if they continue to play like this, I think they'll drop. But for me, they have a easy run for now. They'll be playing Liverpool in the League Cup next week. Then they'll play Leicester. Then they'll play Burnley. Then the Newcastle at home, I think those are easy games that they can win if they
They are not
play.
they're not really easy anymore, considering what's happening. You look at the Chelsea team;
So
they don't look like they're going to win their next game,
then we also
even though
saw
they might end up winning.
in that top four area, we also saw West Ham. So you have Man United, um, uh, Arsenal, which other club again? Okay, West Ham, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and finally Spurs. About how many clubs? Five clubs vying for that top four, and it's only one position that is left. As long as I'm concerned, now, except if there is something that will happen to Chelsea going forward. So, what's your take around this club? And in terms of consistency, who do you think is much more consistent with respect to the style of the way they've been playing? We've seen Manchester United taking leads in the first half and dropping points, and that's why they are where they are now. If not so, if they have taken their last five matches, if they've taken three wins in their last five matches, they couldn't have been on equal point with Chelsea as we speak. So as we speak now, so but who do you think is more consistent in that top four area?
None of the teams in top four is really consistent. None of them. And
Okay,
we'll add Chelsea
hold on,
to that, so we won't say top four.
hold on. I'm coming. Let me look at the standings very well. Let's look at the standings. Okay, let's look at Manchester United. They are unbeaten in their last five matches with two draws and three wins.
Yeah.
West Ham have lost twice in their last five matches. They've lost five, one win, and two draws. For Arsenal, they've lost one, drawn one, win three, and won three. For I think Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are at 40 points, they've lost one and won four, and Spurs have lost three and won two. So Spurs have two games in hand. Wolf 3 games in hand. Wolverhampton Wanderers have 2 games in hand. Who else again? Arsenal have 3 games in hand, and Manchester United and West Ham have played all their games so far so good. So let's
All
talk about
the form of the clubs you have just called. Only Tottenham
yeah
has a worse form than Chelsea. Only Tottenham. Every other team you mentioned have had
yeah
better form. At least the last five matches, they've had it better than Chelsea, and that's why I told you to throw
okay
Chelsea in the mix. You look at the table at the moment, and Chelsea is just 4 points ahead of Manchester United, who is in fourth place. So even though Chelsea
yes.
have a game in hand, are you sure? Can you at this moment beat your chest and tell me Chelsea have
I
taken
should be
3 points?
asking you that. I should be asking you that question, not me.
Oh no, you might want to say I can I
I should
might
be
be
asking
biased.
you that question.
You can say I might be biased or I might be going too hard on my team. So I'm going to ask you now.
Yeah,
Looking
but you are
at
going
the
too hard.
team
Yeah, but
currently,
I like the way you've been bantering your team because truth be told, it's not all about emotions or you are supporting that team. Okay, hold on. John is with us on the line. John, can you John can you hear us, please? Hello, John. Can't see John. Can you hear us, please, John?
I
Okay.
think he's here to enter the room, network or something.
Yeah. Okay. I like the way you've been bantering your team, and that's what a true fan should do. It's not all about the emotions, left, right, center. But I just think that Chelsea will be too strong to stay in that third position. They,
I want Chelsea to be too strong. I'm just a bit concerned at the moment, considering all the inconsistencies we've been having. That's just a challenge. Apart from that, you look at the Chelsea team. If the injured players come back, I
yeah,
can come here and boastfully tell you that bring on any team and we're going to fight tooth and nail. You see the way Tottenham took the fight to City, I can confidently tell you whoever you bring, even if they
yeah,
would win Chelsea, they would have to sweat it out to win. That would be the case. But at the moment, the
yeah.
players we have starting games are not really good enough to kill games off. The Manchester United game against Leeds, it took character. It took
Okay, Arome, can you hear me?
Can you hear me
Arome, can
now?
you hear? Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So it took character, it took zest from the players on the team to push themselves and say, look, this is becoming a normal thing. It's becoming something everyone has known us for. In the space of 25 seconds, United conceded.
Uh, lost Arome. We lost Arome. Hello, John. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello, John.
I can hear you
Yeah.
loud.
Good
I
evening. Can
can
you
hear
hear
you
me?
loud and clear.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
I
we
can.
lost
Good
Arome.
evening.
Okay. Okay, I have John. I have John on the line. I have Arome on the line now. Back on the line. Okay, quickly, John. What's your take about Manchester United match against Leeds United this evening?
Well, it's a
Can you hear me,
typical
John?
United performance. So, yes, I can. I can. I said it's a
Okay, go
typical Man
ahead.
United performance. Electric in the first half. All it took was 5 minutes of the second half, and everything has gone to play. But I guess what the luck they had today was that there was still enough time to do what they have to do. But somehow I just don't understand how the team plays. When I was seeing the match, as soon as Maguire scored, someone said we're going to see the best of Maguire. But it took just 5 minutes of undoing at the start of the second half. So I don't just know, but
But I don't blame.
generally,
I don't
the
blame with
team had a
regards to
good
the
start
goals. With regards to the goals. No, with regards to
that were
the goals that were
considered.
scored today, I don't
Mm.
blame Maguire with regards to the goals that were scored today, because
Yes,
I
normally
felt that I
you
felt that
can't really blame a
David.
singular player. But my thought was he is the leader at the back. At that point when they considered the first goal, it was up to him
Yeah,
to steady the
which
ship.
was a freak, which was a freak goal,
Yes,
which was a freak
that
goal for that. Yeah,
yes, that's why I said it was up to him. It was up to him to steady the ship. Not at. I don't think five United players touched the ball after the restart before he went back straight into the
Yeah.
net again. All the same,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything went well because all that still ends well is what matters. But for goodness sakes, that team should be more than what it is. It should be more than what it is.
okay, um, okay, Arome, let's go back to let's go back. We're talking about okay, we're talking about the United match.
Yeah.
So the question I want to ask you guys is that is United a first half team?
Uh, United is
Uh,
not a first half team. I wouldn't say United is a first half team. I think it has to do with the level, the mental strength, I would say. Because, like John said, it was something I was also talking about. It took just 25 seconds to concede those two goals. So it's not really about a first half team. It's about the mental strength of the team. How strong are they mentally? Because you look at the team, the moment they considered the first goal, within them they already knew we were in trouble. You will see Bruno just weighing in, Ronaldo with his hands on his waist. They knew something was up again. What they didn't want was up again, and within 25 seconds, the second goal went in. Something I was talking to you about the other day happened in the game when Social brought on Fred. I heard what's his name? This former Chelsea player who runs analysis for ESPN FC, Craig Bowley,
Yeah.
talk about Fred, Fred being fit. No, Shaka said Fred is fit, and so we expect when he comes to get better. And everyone started laughing. I personally have a soft spot for Fred. I keep talking about Fred because he's basically the only one United have that can play as a defensive midfielder and can also push forward with anger to see that something happens. Every other person in the midfield, Nemanja he is passive. McTominay tries that once in a while, but what he does feels like a gamble. Should I go? Should I not go? Should I go? Should I not go? It's a gamble. But when Fred goes, he goes all out. And when he's defending, he's defending. You watch him, he plays with his heart. And that was what United needed. And the moment he came on, I'm not sure he had more than 2, 3 touches before he scored that goal. Look at where he was. He was brought in to fill in the four defensive midfield position. But see where he was playing 1-2 with Sancho and getting that shot directly on net on goal, and it was a goal that brought back the belief to United, and United took it from there. But it came from a tactical decision by the manager. We expect that going on, Ralph would see that, look, the people you're believing in, sometimes you need to shake them up. You need to shake these big boys up by removing them from games, substituting them, sitting them out of some games. Make them feel that, look, these your shoulders, the wings, the pride you're taking up is because you have the privilege of playing. Let them see it is a privilege to play for. It's Manchester United we're talking about. It's not Norwich, with all due respect to Norwich. No. It's Manchester United, one of the best clubs in Europe over the years. You can't be playing for United and you're misbehaving. United is not known for having stars like that. So when you have a manager who is stubborn,
Yeah.
United at this moment would have been better. United needs a very stubborn manager. I told you
You said so.
yesterday.
You said so yesterday.
They need a stubborn
John.
manager.
Exactly. You said so yesterday. John, do you agree that United need a summer manager?
I think Ralph Ragnick has actually been as stubborn as he can get, based on what he has. Because no, truly, at the point when the match was going on, someone said that in the first half that since they've sealed the match, likely we'll see Rashford. And I told him, I said, I'll be surprised if you see Rashford for more than 5 minutes in the game. Luckily enough, we didn't even get to see him. My point is this: he has looked at
Yeah,
some particular
yeah,
players, and he doesn't. He calls their bluff. He calls their bluff. Those who believe is a right to them, he has made them understand that it's either you are working for me or uncle, you will have a damn name carved on the bench, which is truly what it should be. If you see the match now, we saw Lingard today. He came on, he did his bit, although he didn't do anything extraordinary, but we saw the work rate, and that is what the team needed.
yes,
Anthony
yes.
Alanga has been very, very good.
Hard.
At the start of the season, I was very surprised that I was surprised that Anthony Alanga didn't actually even get into the team when Ule was there, because preseason he was practically United's best player. He scored in almost every preseason match except one. Then the season came, you were even thinking of loaning him out. Uncle does that. Now, since Raf came in now, he looked at the wingers. We've always talked about the United wingers not walking back. What did he do? He dropped the first team wingers, and now he brought in people who knows they can play for him. It's not about the name. And if you watch the three results that United had that were bad, the result against Middlesbrough, Burnley, and
Yes.
Southampton, they were the three matches that Rashford started. As soon as he took him out of the team again, the team has started winning matches. Which it took him out against Brighton, the United won. It took him out today, and look at the work rate. So it's not. He has really been stubborn as it can get, because you can't really be too stubborn as to say you just nail out a team, nail out a particular player. But he has done it up to the extent he can. So what I believe is he has given every player an equal setting, an equal pedestal. Today now we saw Wan-Bissaka coming into the team and doing what we know Wan-Bissaka can do. He didn't go elaborate. He just made sure his wing was locked up. So that is what it should be. He has seen that, uncle, if you don't do well, you can don't be even surprised. You can be shipped out at the end of the season, and another right wing, another right fullback brought in. So he has been as stubborn as he
I
can
for
get.
one thought, I for one thought it was a bold decision in bringing out Pogba for Fred and
It wasn't
Lingard
a bold
for Alanga.
decision.
No,
It
it
wasn't
was.
something that was it was listen. It wasn't something that was not necessary. Prior about 2 minutes before it was taken off, we saw Pogba. It was enjoying the
Yeah, he
fact
was
that it
tired.
was
Actually,
raining.
he was tired
He
in that
was he
match.
was enjoying the fact that it was raining. It wasn't allowing him do things beyond what he can do. He was just playing it. He was very passive in the game, and he called his bluff. He took him off. He called Ronaldo's bluff. They were 3-2 off. He took him off. So that is what that I don't think any manager can be more stubborn or more radical than that. So he has actually done his bit. And thank God
AFCON.
the boys are rewarding him with yes. And thank God the boys are rewarding him with results.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. I
Yeah,
felt the likes of
I believe
Maguire.
so.
I felt the likes of Maguire were happy with the result. And also for the first
Uh,
time, United scoring from a corner kick for the first time
for
in
the
the
first time
EPL.
in the league.
Yes, in the EPL.
From the set piece at all, not just from the set piece.
From a set piece,
Set
oh.
Exactly.
piece.
Okay,
You know,
guys, let's move let's move on. Let's move on. Okay. Uh for me, John. Okay, please, guys, I want you to towards the end of the show, I think the last 5 minutes of the show will be time to pick your first 11 for the week. Please just put it at the back of your mind. So look for your first 11. I'll ask you goalkeepers, and I'll also ask you those positions you know on the pitch. So just keep yours standing. But let's move on, guys. Um, with respect to the bottom of that league, the EPL. We saw a win for Burnley yesterday at the Seagulls, Brighton and Hove. We also saw a win for. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, we also saw. Okay, I think Norwich they were defeated. A win for Watford as well. So we have the likes of Leeds United, Everton, and Newcastle in that mix, including Brentford as well. They've not escaped, and Aston Villa as well. From Leicester, from number 11 to number 20, are not out of the woods yet. So with respect to that relegation battle, which team will finally be dragged into? Because I feel that Norwich are already in the relegation fight. I think they will go down as for all I care. Burnley as well are also there. Watford are also there. So which team will likely be pulled also down? Will be pulled down as well? John.
All right. For me, I think as it is, you've already named Watford, Norwich, but I don't know. You see, there's this problem I have with Watford. It seems with the change of manager, they've changed their style again. We've seen the grit
Yes.
of Hodgson coming to the team. We've seen the grit of Hodgson coming to the team. If they can pull off yes, if they can pull off 1, 2, 3 results, most especially against team around them, I won't be surprised if Watford escapes. But the team I'm really scared for is Everton. Yes, they have
Yeah.
the Lampard effect. They've had the big boys coming, but funny enough, they don't seem to be able to do it once they are away from home. And you need to pick those points away from home. It's very crucial. We saw yesterday they were very flat. They were very
Yeah.
flat, and we know that a Lampard is not a manager who knows the relegation battle. That's the advantage Watford has now with Hodgson. They honestly knows how to
Yeah.
fight
He knows how to fight
relegation.
the relegation fight. Yeah.
Is what is
Can you hear me, John?
in fact him and Allardyce, I will call them specialists.
Hello, John. Your line is breaking, please. Arome, what do you think about the relegation fight?
He knows how to fight it. This is how to
Okay. Hello, John. Can you hear me, John?
all the stuff will be at that. Yes, I
Can you hear me, John?
into it go uh, Burnley will still
I can't hear you, John. John, I can't hear you.
Can you hear
John,
me?
I can hear you, Arome. Go ahead with the.
Okay, so about the relegation, I personally feel those ones there are the ones who are going to battle it out and go down themselves. Because I don't see them outwitting any other team and dragging the team back. Somehow Watford is beginning to pull some strings. I don't know how they're going to do it at the end of the day, but I don't think they have what it takes to stay up. Everton, on the other hand, regardless of the inexperience of Frank Lampard, might just manage to stay up at the end of the day. Everton.
You think they have the characters to stay up?
Oh yeah, yes, they do. They do. They know how to get results when there is a need for the results, and that's what has worked for them in times past. And somehow, you see some games where you feel, man, it's done for these guys, and somehow they win and they win convincingly. It's been on and off for them as well. They've had the same problem with Chelsea, inconsistent with getting results. But they've been worse off than Chelsea, losing even games you expect them to have won at the end of the day. But this whole setup, even though we want to talk about Frank Lampard and all, this whole setup is Benitez setup. And so you expect that you rate Lampard from next year, not this year, where you expect him to have done, made one or two adjustments to the team the way he wants it to be. So for now, I expect that Everton will stay up, but the relegation will become an issue for those three or even four fighting there. Watford, Norwich, Newcastle, and Burnley also. So you expect them to be the ones who struggle at the end of the day. Are you there, Phil? Phil, are you there? Phil, are you there?